And this was the campfire we had last night with some neighbors. And then this morning we got up and we started off on a new adventure.
Thanks to one of the guys at the campfire last night, he said, "Did you go to the Air Museum in McMinnville, Oregon?" So off we went.
Yeah, it was, how far was the drive?
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half drive there. Pulled up on it, huge buildings. We knew what was in it. We're fixing to show you in a second. But here's some airliners, and you got the some of the Orville Wilbur,
the Wright brothers, what they flew.
what they flew. Some of those are in there. There's all kinds of planes.
I honestly didn't know there were that many kinds of types of planes.
And then you get some beginning pictures of the
Spruce
Goose, Spruce Goose, and that was the one that Howard Hughes built during the Second World War, I guess, and they were trying to figure out a way to move equipment across overseas. By the time they did get it built, and it's built out of total wood,
yes,
because the metals were used in the war, and it was built to carry equipment over. And by the time they got it finished, the war was over, and they didn't have a use for it.
The war had been over for 2 years
When they finished it, it did fly. I think it only flew once. So we are inside the museum and trying to get a picture of the Spruce Goose. It's kind of impossible. You can't get the whole thing front to back in any position. There's the cockpit. You can barely see it up there. But they said they actually brought this thing from Long Beach, California to here in McMinnville, Oregon. I don't know how they done that. They took it apart and had to put it all back together. Now, they did have a model here that shows how they built the thing. That's not a very good picture of it.
Really not. And there's the schematics of it, basically. Schematics. Simple schematics.
And then you get to go inside. And this, they had two different rates. One was you could go into the whole building for $25. You could go into the cockpit of this for another $25. But that's the inside you can walk into for free. And that's the front end of it. And the other one was the aft of it. And they have beach balls in the wings to help it for flotation devices. If it ever broke a wing or something fell off, it had to float. Then we get into the other planes.
And we just took pictures of some of the interesting looking planes. That one I might have liked to fly. A couple of helicopters. I mean, they had all kinds. This was all aviation pilots.
And that helicopter was sitting under the tail end of the Spruce Goose.
Goodness.
And that's me in a little bitty helicopter.
Yep. And then we went over to the other building.
This is one Jen really wanted to go to.
There we go, an F-15, my favorite fighter jet ever. I stood there in awe and just thrilled that I got to see it. I actually petted it and told it I loved it. I was so happy. That's part of the reason we went today. You'll see the other part here in a minute. Actually, there were three parts: the Spruce Goose, the F-15, and then this one, my SR-71, the stealth plane that they decommissioned in 1999. And we talked to a lady, and she said the Air Force could call this one back into service.
Yeah.
And they'd give the museum plenty of time, but to get it out, but they could call it back into service.
It's still the fastest plane that can fly the highest in the world, and they can't be shot down, basically.
Right.
And they've never had one shot down.
Yep.
But she said that the expense to keep it up in the air was too expensive, especially during non-war times.
Because of the way they have to fuel it. They fuel it to get it up in the air, and then they fuel it again in the air. And again, there's more military on this side of the museum.
Right. This is some single-man helicopters. Man stands in the middle of it and flies. And Kilroy was here. You can slow that down and read that sign. But it was people were drawing logos all over the world as they show up with the military. And they said even the Germans and the Japanese got the hate in the symbol.
Yep.
And these are some of the drones.
Yep. And they were kind of interesting.
And then we was talking about the
SR-71
stealth fighter, that the drones actually took the place of the stealth fighter, I think.
And these are some of the Tillamook cows. We actually saw a Tillamook sign at this farm, which is interesting.
Yeah. Saw several of them, actually.
Yep.
If you enjoyed our video, please select the subscribe and the like button below. To get to our next video, select one of the tabs. Comments.